Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom. Today we're going to continue talking about trade shows. And this is English that would be very applicable for you if you're planning to take the TOEIC test. That's why it's our TOEIC unit here. Because if you get a job for a company that does international business, at some point in time, your company will attend a trade show or will at least think it over. I think most companies that do exporting and importing will have to attend a trade show once in a while.
Yeah, maybe if you work for a smaller company, you won't be participating, but you might be there just checking out everybody else's booths, you know, maybe for the future. We're going to be talking about some trade show do and don'ts. Do's and don'ts, I should say. Trade show do's and don'ts are the things that you should do and the things you shouldn't do. And there are some really good suggestions in this, I must say.
Okay, so let's get to it, everybody. Let's read the entire contents of our lesson right now, and we'll be right back to discuss it. It's almost time for the trade show. You've got all your ducks in a row, you've prepared well, you have a great booth, and you have all your supplies. The hard work doesn't stop here, though. You still need to perform well at the show itself. Here are some do's and don'ts to help you do just that. Good booth behavior is essential, and this can be practiced through both verbal and nonverbal communication. Staff should listen carefully to potential clients, anticipate the questions they might ask, and prepare helpful responses. They also need to make eye contact, start conversations, and neither hide behind nor block the displays. Moreover, booth workers should not sit down, eat at the booths, or stand around fiddling with their cell phones. Here's some advice. Put the trade in trade show. If you're handing out a brochure, try to get some contact information in return. However, don't be too pushy or you'll risk annoying people. What's more, you should talk to people working at other booths and exchange contact details. You never know what business connections you might make. On the other hand, be careful not to give away too much information to any of your competitors who might have booths at the show. If you keep this advice in mind, your next trade show appearance is sure to be a success.
We're talking about the do's and don'ts of going to a trade show, participating in a trade show. What you need to do, well, it's almost time for the trade show. You've got all your ducks in a row. What the heck does that mean? All your ducks in a row.
Are you a hunter or something?
No. If you have all your ducks in a row, it means you've got everything perfectly arranged. You're ready to go. You've worked on this. You're organized. You've got your ducks in a row. I love that phrase.
It's a cute little phrase, especially because ducks are such cute little creatures. They quack all the time, and they've got those cute little beaks.
Isn't it because of those games we play? What do you play? The pinball games. You know how the ducks line up and you use a rifle and you shoot them?
Yeah, that would be an arcade game.
Yeah, I always think it comes from that. I'm not really sure where it comes from, but that seems like that's where it comes from.
Indeed. We just had the definition here, but basically it means to be all prepared, to have everything set and ready to go.
Yeah.
And so, yes, you've got all this stuff. You've got a great booth. You've got it all set up. You've got your supplies. Your supplies are the things you need. Like when I was a kid, of course, when school was going to start in the fall, you needed to go buy school supplies, which would be pencils, pens, erasers, protractors, notebooks, and things like that. Those are all examples of school supplies, and that, of course, is a countable noun. So now, well, that's kind of difficult to do all that stuff, but unfortunately, the hard work doesn't stop here, though. I guess you could say the hard work has just begun.
Yeah. I was just looking up the origin of ducks in a row. It's because the mother duck always has her little chicks, the little ducks, walking in a row behind her. Very organized. They're never out of line. So you want to get your little ducks in a row. That's where it comes from. It's really cute. So the hard work doesn't stop just because you've got your booth and and you think you have all your supplies. Oh, you've just started. You still need to perform well at the show itself. I can't overemphasize how important it is to take people with good personalities. It really is a sales event. I mean, that's what you're doing. We had our sales guys out front, and then we had our tech guy who knew, more of the technical things. We had him just waiting until the salespeople could bring him a customer. But put your best people out there in front because it really is kind of a sales event, I think at least. And it's hard, you have to keep your spirits up. You have to, be positive all day long, even though your feet are killing you, especially for women who have high heels on because we want to look cute.
Yeah, I guess that's still sort of required for women to wear high heels. Well, it's not required.
No, not required.
But women choose to do it anyway because they still look pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't mind it if women don't wear them, but I guess it's an individual choice. But again, you need to perform well at the show. Here's some do's and don'ts that you should consider. And we're talking about good booth behavior. That means how you act, your behavior. We often talk about this if we're talking about kids in school. Your kid might be sent home because of bad behavior.
Yeah.
He or she was behaving badly, not listening to the teacher, not doing the assignments and stuff like that. So that's all about how you handle yourself in a social situation. It's essential. It's a very important thing. And it can be practiced through both verbal and non-verbal communication. Verbal means talking. That's basically what we're doing here. But non-verbal communication sometimes does affect verbal communication. It can be like how you pronounce words, whether you use pauses or emphasis or volume. That's all part of nonverbal communication, but it could be your gestures and things like that. Eye contact, the kinds of clothes you wear, etc.
Oh, yeah. Now, staff should listen carefully to potential clients and anticipate the questions they might ask and prepare helpful responses. I have a client that was going to a trade show in San Francisco, and he just wanted to be able to do better small talk. What do I talk to them about? So I filled him in on the sports because he was going to kind of a, more of a masculine trade show. More guys work for that industry than women. And, I caught him up on all the sports so he could talk about what had been going on recently in football. Which is important, and basketball. Those are sorts of things that you want to, kind of prepare yourself for. Wherever you go, learn about the city so you can talk more about that. So you should listen carefully, though, to potential clients. A lot of salespeople start talking to customers, and they forget to listen. They only are concerned about their message, but you have to be a good listener. That's really important. If you're a potential client or customer, it means you have the capacity, you have the potential to maybe develop into something in the future. You don't have that thing yet. You're not a client currently, but you might become one. You have the qualities or abilities that are needed to be developed. So you have to really learn how to listen. Listening is a talent.
And you also need to anticipate the questions they might ask. To anticipate means to think that something is possible. This is a question they might ask. So do your homework ahead of time.
Don't be surprised.
Yeah, indeed. Don't be caught off your feet. Well, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. No, you got to do your homework and be prepared. Otherwise, they will walk away from you. And also, you need to prepare helpful responses. You need to have something to say in case they ask these questions.
Yeah, some of the important things if you're having a conversation is to make eye contact. If I'm talking to somebody and they're not looking at me, it's a little rude. And I think, why am I continuing this conversation? I'm leaving. So make eye contact, not too much. If you make too much, you feel like maybe they're flirting with you, they're hitting on you. That's a little weird. So keep your eye contact normal. Start conversations. That's the difficult part of working in a booth. You actually have to, talk to people that are walking by. Start the conversation. If you're not good at that, you got to practice that. And neither hide behind or block the displays. Yeah, sometimes when I just wanted to have a break, I sometimes would go behind the corner. So if you block something, you're an obstacle, you're in the way of something. And the displays or whatever you're showing your potential clients, you have to sell or that you offer, some sort of service you offer. So you want to definitely make sure your displays are clear for everyone to see.
Yeah, display can be a verb and a noun, but here we're using it as a noun. The things that are showing information and stuff like that, posters or other things like that. And moreover, or in addition, booth workers should not sit down, they should not eat at the booths, or they should not stand around fiddling with their cell phones. Yes, to me, that's a big turnoff. If you are... You got to stand, basically. You can't just sit down. It means you're not really interested in the clients or the possible customers. So, yes, stay on your feet, and maybe you can, change around with some other people and get a
we had shifts. We would I'll take this hour, you take the next hour. Yeah,
it's really painful to stand in the same place for hours on end.
Yes.
That makes my feet just really, really sore. But you still got to stay on your feet, and you can't eat there if you need to eat something, leave the booth and have somebody take your place. And also, don't play with those smartphones. Don't be playing Candy Crush Saga or whatever when there are potential customers coming. It's very unprofessional.
It is unprofessional. I would be really curious to see what it's like today at a trade show. When I went to a trade show, cell phones were really big, so you really couldn't fiddle, and they didn't have internet. So it would be interesting to see what people are doing nowadays at trade shows. People are constantly just, they have their head bent looking at those darn phones.
Well, they're part of conversation now. Basically, people talk to each other with the phone kind of at the ready in case they need to refer to it. So I think
really?
I think that's a reality that's not going to go away ever.
Talk about fiddle with. Fiddle with. What does that mean?
With, yeah. Well, basically, you take out a bow and you start stroking it across your...
The violin?
You're trying to make sound or music. No. I was joking.
Yeah.
Fiddle, of course, is a violin.
It's a violin.
But fiddle with here is a verb phrase. It just means to play with something.
Waste time.
Fiddle with your cell phone.
Keep touching it. Keep doing things with your phone. Yeah.
Yep.
Or, have you ever been in school and your teacher said, stop fiddling? Like you're moving, you're doing things, you can't hold still. Yeah.
My teacher used to say it was fidgeting.
Oh, fidgeting. Yeah.
Which is similar. You just kind of can't contain
Fidget your
yourself.
whole body. Fiddling's more your hands, don't you think?
Yeah,
Fiddling.
playing with something, basically.
With
fiddling with your cell phones. There are other things, I suppose, you could fiddle with, like your tablet computer or something, or your Game Boy if you were back in the 80s or something like that.
Or maybe your remote control's not working and you're fiddling with it, trying to try different things. Fiddle.
Indeed. So, yes, indeed, you can't be doing that. You got to be at the ready, unless you absolutely have to refer to the smartphone to show the client something or to get their contact information, to scan the code for line or whatever. But in any case, things are changing, so, adjust accordingly. And here's some advice. Put the trade in trade show. Advice, of course, is information that somebody can give you because they know about it and you don't really know about it. So this is some advice. Put the trade in trade show. In other words, emphasize the word trade here.
I'm giving you something. Will you give me something? That's what trade is. You give something to someone else and they give you something in return. So if you're handing out a brochure, try to get some contact information in return. There were some people who really didn't want to give their contact information. But typically at trade shows, everybody knows what it's about. You're there to make contacts. And so that's why people carry around so many business cards. We went home with hundreds of business cards, with people's contact information. So make sure that you don't waste the time. Get the contact information so you can follow up with those people.
Yeah, I get business cards all the time without going to a trade show, and sometimes I forget whose card it is.
I've started writing what I did for them on the card, Tom.
That too. I write that on the back, or I try to write a description of the person.
Yeah, exactly.
A tall woman in glasses, wearing a blue shirt or something like that. Oh, now I remember.
Yeah.
Indeed, because you get those business cards all the time. Actually, I think it might be helpful to put your picture on your business card.
Yes.
Because then they might remember you better that way. Otherwise, it's just a name and a company logo, and they'll forget what it is.
I think a picture is a good idea.
I'd like to put a picture on my business card. But in any case here, this is the advice. Put the trade and trade show. Actually do some trading here.
Yeah.
You give them a brochure. They give you some contact information in return. And however, don't be too pushy or you risk annoying people. Yeah, being pushy, that means being too aggressive. And usually people are turned off by that. I don't like that either if people are too pushy. Well, if you're going to be pushy, then I'm going to walk away from you.
That's right. Don't be pushy. Or if you do become pushy, you're going to risk annoying people, really bothering people, making them irritated. They want to get away from you. Don't do that. You definitely don't want to annoy people. There are people every once in a while in our lives that will annoy us. They make us crazy.
That's the verb. Annoying could also be an adjective here, like this is a very annoying sound. That's a very annoying sound. People would go crazy if they heard it.
Yeah.
Ooh, so annoying, but you don't want to annoy people. And what's more, or in addition, you should talk to people working at other booths and exchange contact details.
Oh, yeah. Of course you do that. Definitely.
Or walk around and take a look at those booths yourself and get some content. Well, we're this booth over here, and we sell this product, which is kind of similar to yours, so maybe we can cooperate in the future.
You never know what business connections you might make. Business is all about connections. That's the truth, and that is the way the world works. So remember that. You're just there to meet new people, make connections, and you never know if you're going to do business with them in the future. It's a good idea to always be friendly and great to work with. Now, on the other hand, be careful not to give away too much information to any of your competitors who might have booths at the show. Well, that would be stupid.
Yeah, you don't want to cut your own throat.
That's exactly right. Your competitors are people that you're trying to outdo. You're trying to beat them. You want to win. You're competing against them. So don't give them too much information, especially about your secret sauce or your secret algorithm. Don't give them any secrets. Yeah.
Yeah, don't give away those secrets to the other people you're trying to exchange information either, because you don't know who their friends are and who their enemies are, but still, you got to try to make those contacts.
I mentioned secret sauce, Tom. I should explain. That kind of comes from McDonald's. They have the secret sauce on the Big Mac.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I'm going to have to say that poem again.
If you have a special recipe, you don't give it to anybody. Secret
sauce. 2 all beef patties, etc.
Special sauce, lettuce, cheese.
I'm not going to say that because it's probably copyrighted by the McDonald's Corporation. But in any case here, yes, indeed, you don't want to give away too much information because your competitors might have booze at the show, and they might be figuring out a way to stab you in the back the first chance they get. So, indeed, we've got all this advice about attending a trade show, and if you keep this advice in mind, your next trade show appearance is sure to be a smashing success. So keep this in mind. Remember this advice, and our author here, I believe, does have some experience in trade shows himself, so we're not just making this stuff up.
Oh, no, not at all. Right now, we're going to listen to our Chinese teacher, and then we'll be back with a couple of discussion questions.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. 今天我们继续来看第5单元。好，我们呢先前提到要做 trade show， 也就是如果你去参展做商展的时候，应该要注意到什么，包括你的目标。那今天我们来继续来看，其实还是有一些守则要注意的。这篇文章就先告诉大家，现在我们准备要参加商展咯。然后呢，你一切也都安排就绪，准备就绪。好，这个准备就绪，它用到了 You've got all your ducks in a row. Get your ducks in a row 这个本来的意思呢，如果就字面来看，它也蛮有趣的，好像是说你有一群的鸭子，这些鸭子都排成一列了。当然这个从字面再去引申就知道，表示一切呢都安排得井井有条，有条不紊，非常的有顺序。所以这边的意思就是现在你已经都准备好了，就是要去做商展了。好，然后呢你有一个 great booth， 我们说到这个 booth 当然就是指你的摊位，你的展位。好，然后呢你东西都准备好了，不过基本上这并不是全部，因为有一些事情是必须注意的，也就是我们这个单元说的 do's and don'ts。 好，这些 do's and don'ts 是哪些呢？它的下一段就告诉你，第一点当然就是 good booth behavior， 换句话说，你在展场上你的举止很重要。那它分作2点来探讨，一个是 verbal， 一个是 non-verbal， 也就是跟语言有关的，还有非语言的。那所谓的 non-verbal 指的就是跟你的 body language 可能比较有关系，你的肢体语言这部分应该怎么做。好，我们现在先从 verbal 部分，他呢提到说你应该注意到几点。好，在这里的 stop shed 后面有连续3个动作，一个呢就是 listen carefully to the potential clients。 好，这是第一个，要倾听。第二个anticipate the questions they might ask， 这个动作讲的 anticipate 就是预期，你可能先想一想，先考虑到这些来的客户他可能会问什么问题。接下来呢还有第3个动作 prepare helpful responses， 你要准备有帮助的答复，所以意思就是心里要有一些答案准备好，免得被问了不知道该怎么讲。好，那当然这是 verbal 部分咯。那 non-verbal 呢，比如说提到的 eye contact，你的眼神应该怎么样？还有他提到说start conversations, neither hide behind nor block the displays。 人的位置也要小心，不要就一直站在后面，然后呢你把你自己这个摊位上的陈列品都挡住了。好，这就是 non-verbal 的部分，也就是身体肢体语言要注意的。那还有就是你也不能在那边坐着啦，吃东西啦，甚至于他说 fiddling with their cell phones。 fiddle 这个动词啊，它是一个不及物动词，所以如果说你手边在玩弄什么，把玩什么，后面要接系词 with， fiddle with something。 我们有时候中文讲玩手机，这就是一个他用的动词 fiddle with your cell phone。 好，我们来看看下面他除了刚刚说的这些 verbal non-verbal 部分应该要注意的守则之外，他还有一些建议。好，这个 advice 要注意一下。其实 advice 我们发现常常有用错的情况，因为 advice 它其实是不可数的，所以呢你要讲 a piece of advice， several pieces of advice， 但是 advice 本身它不会去加 s。 这边就算说你有好几点你看到的 some advice， 它还是单数型的。好，然后呢我们看到 risk 这个当动词就是冒什么险，冒什么样的风险。不过这个动词要记得它是及物动词，所以它后面呢会接一个名词。比如说 risk your life， 那就是冒着生命的危险。可是 risk 如果后面是动作的话，要用 V-I-N-G， 像这里的 annoying。 好，我们今天就到这边讲解结束，下次见。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're going to have a couple of discussion questions here to finish out the program. Number 1, I'm going to ask you, Tom, if you were promoting your company or school at a trade show, what would you talk about and why?
Okay, well, at the risk of doing some shameless promotion right now, of course, this is our company here, AMC, English Digest Magazine. And, of course, I would attend myself. You know, I'm a really charming and handsome individual. And so I would be right there at the booth, and you would too as well. We want to put some people there who know a thing or two about this product. And because we're selling English language teaching materials here, it would probably be a good idea to have a number of foreigners there at the booth.
Yeah, some of the people that you see on TV or you listen to as you listen to the programs, I'd have some of them there, definitely.
Indeed, and I would also think of maybe demonstrating some of the products to show the products and show how people learn by using our products and listening to our programs and watching our videos and stuff like that. So yes, indeed, you'd want to have all that stuff there, some videos showing the lessons and maybe some recordings because this is a radio program here, so have the opportunity to listen to that. And yeah, that's what I would do if I was.
We'd have a good booth, I must say. We could do a lot of fun things.
Oh, yeah. Well, the reason we don't actually have booths at some of these exhibitions is because we don't want our competition to feel so bad. I mean, if they were there and saw us, they would be so jealous.
How do we compete with Tom and Stephanie? No way.
They would be so depressed, and they would probably have to spend a lot of money on going to see psychologists for many years. Oh, how could we be as good as them? They're going to lose sleep and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm not really sure we should actually go. I don't want to have people feel so bad and stuff like that. So
we should probably get to the next question, Tom.
Okay, let me ask you this question. If you go to a trade show, what kinds of things will you want to see or do?
There are lots of different kinds of trade shows. The ones that I've been to primarily technical, either computer or mostly just computer. The first thing I like to do at these trade shows is go to the biggest booths because they usually have the best, drawings or giveaways, the freebies. We call them freebies if they're free things, that advertise the company. I go there first. I always like to walk around and check out all the latest technology because I want to see what I'm missing. And these guys that are at the booths, they're really smart and they know how to talk to you about these things. So those are the things I usually go to, the big booths to get the free stuff. And then I walk around to see what is new that I haven't heard about or that I've heard of, but I want to know more. Those are the first things I do.
Well, I don't really like crowds, big groups of people, but sometimes it's a good indication of what a product is if it's really popular. So if you go to a booth and there's a bunch of people there checking it out, that means they've got something hot there, and that's something you should check out too.
It's true.
It's worth fighting the crowds to see what the hubbub is all about.
That's right. I've noticed that's popular in Taiwan when a new restaurant opens or something. If there's a line, there's a possibility that it's really tasty. And so people will just stand in line because they see other people standing in line.
They want to check it out. They don't want to be left out. There's a modern phrase for that. What is it? FOMO, fear of missing out. No one wants to be left behind.
No.
It's like bees being attracted to honey. Okay, that brings us to the end of our program for today. Thank you for listening, and make sure you join us again next time for another edition of our program. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.